Okay, so you've gotten into the gym, you've started working out, you have a pretty good grip on what you're doing as far as your basic workout program or routine, the basic exercises, and etc. And yes, initially all you had to do was get more calories in by the end of every day than what you've expended that day. And if you continually do that, you are putting on some muscle. You're gaining some size. And with some conscious understanding that muscle is made out of protein and carbohydrate gives you energy. And more or less, it might help you if you walk in with an understanding that you don't want to cut yourself so short on carbohydrates that you're dipping into the protein to try to utilize protein calories for things carbohydrates or fats could do better. So you got that part down. So what comes next? How complicated does it have to get? Well, it depends on what your goals are. Depends on what your long-term your goals are. Your priorities are going to shift to deliver you onto your projected goal, your target. If you're serious, you really are serious about gaining muscle, then things will get more complicated, and as you go along, they will get even more complicated. But incrementally, to the extent that it won't seem like it's really that complicated when you get there, when it's necessary. But not, you don't have to rush it. You don't need a whole bunch of stuff at first. But you're at that basic stage. You're looking for the next rung on the ladder, and that rung on that ladder is you have to track macros. You have to start to track your macros. If you track macros, it's always been my experience that the calories are going to work themselves out. Once you get a really good grasp on macros, calories will work themselves out, and you can continue on in that light, forever. Once you understand how many carbs, how many proteins, how many fats do what to my body, then you're going to begin to play around with the sources. Then you get into more trickier things in that regard with thermogenesis and such. But that's much later. But even then, once you've got that good grasp on what is going in your body and how your body's responding, really calories are something you don't need to be concerned with because they're going to work themselves out if you come at it from that angle. That's why I recommend right out of the gate, if you're going to start to tighten something down and you're going to expand your program and take on a little bit more responsibility or more monitoring of it, then start with the macros. Watch those macros, particularly that protein intake. I couldn't even tell you how many times. It happens regularly, routinely, and frequently that I'll see somebody and I'll say to them, how much protein are you getting in? Are you taking in? And they'll say, oh, I'm taking in plenty of protein. Well, how much? Well, I don't really count it, but I know I'm taking plenty of protein. I eat all day long. I eat protein all the time, all day, throughout the day. Well, what would you say if you had to pick a number? How many grams are you getting? You're getting 200 grams? Oh, yeah, I'm easily getting 200 grams. Oh, very easily. I'd probably say 220, 240, somewhere in there. And I might look at them and say, if you count everyone up, I'll bet you're not getting that. Because you can see it. I know people are going to tell you can't. You can. I can. If I train around somebody enough, a period of time, I can see. I can usually call it. I can usually see water. You're not taking in enough water. And that's not just because they're holding water. That's a no-brainer. It's other things about their physique. It just has a look to it and a feel to it that a lack of water is going to do one thing to inhibit muscle growth versus a insufficient protein intake. So normally I'll have that person start to track their protein and they'll come back to me 100% of the time. It's never failed. They'll come back and say, man, you know what? I started counting up protein. You were right. I was nowhere near what I thought. I was way, way, way under that. Like so far under that, it was an ineffective amount for what they were trying to accomplish. So that's the next stage, is start to count up those macros. Now, if you're not trying to, if you're enjoying what you're doing now, you're happy with the way it's going, you don't want to do any more complication to it, or you don't want to have any more oversight, then don't worry about it. You're having a good time. Do your thing. You don't have to justify what you're doing in the gym or explain it to anybody. You're in there for you. You're having a good time. That's what it's about. You're satisfied with what's working and what's, how things are going along. You keep on, get on with your bad self. But if you're looking to go to that next level, that's what it is. Start to count up those macros if you're not already there, particularly protein content, because I assume that you've gone that first little bit and you're already seeing some results. So the calories are probably in the right neighborhood. Now start to look at where they're coming from. You don't have to overcomplicate it. Write down every crumb initially. Just look at that protein. Start to see how much protein you're getting. I'll tell you the two things you need to focus on most. Once you're just eating enough that you're just growing and you know that it's working, right? Not looking for miracles. It's just working initially. Then the next thing you need to do is track your water intake and your protein intake. That's where I go. That would be the next things. Later on, like me and most people that I know at this level, we don't really count calories. I have no idea, to be quite honest with you. Usually just giving you an estimate when people try to nail us down on how many calories. Because normally I just have such a feel, an accurate feel over an extended period of training and practice, that I know where I'm at. I know where the macros are at. And now if I were getting ready to do a show or something, then I would actually track what I've been eating and where I'm at, calorie for calorie, as accurately as I can, as accurately as possible. And then I would sit down and formulate a strict diet from that. That'd be a different thing. That's a whole different thing than this. It's not necessary for this. Okay, so that's about it. Just start to count. That's the next move. If you're going to, if you're looking to look like this one day, or you're looking to look better than this, or you're looking to be bigger, or this big, or whatever. If you're looking for those elusive 20-inch guns, then yeah, you're gonna have to head in that direction. So that's the next step. Little bit by little bit. Don't overwhelm yourself.